G'day guys and welcome back to Joystick Arcade. My name is Mickpone.
And I'm Whipper.
We're going to be checking out the latest reimagining from Capcom, Resident Evil 3.
And this week's Off the Shelf, we've got a massive haul to show off.
And on top of that, we've got our giveaway winners for Division 2, plus Warlords of New York on PC, and Rainbow Six Siege's Year 5 expansion pass on Xbox One.
So with this week's news, we've got some good news and some bad news. We'll start with the bad news first. Unfortunately, The Last of Us 2 has been indefinitely delayed. This is due to the current climate with being able to release any games due to the current pandemic, as well as no guarantees on stores being open, as well as shipping. This is affecting digital releases as well. It's sad, but I can understand why Naughty Dog are doing this.
But on top of that, the good news is, at least for Australia, Final Fantasy VII has released 10 days early, physically, in the country.
Digital stores, sorry, you're gonna have to wait.
That's right, so digital, yeah, gotta wait till release day, but for us on physical, it's happy days, but not quite happy days if you're a content creator. You gotta wait to the 10th to play, and I just wanna reiterate that as clear as possible. Square Enix have actually come out and said that no gameplay, any footage should be shown until the 10th. And that goes for streams, YouTube videos, any kind of that sort of stuff. And it just goes to show, if you do manage to get a game early through any means at all, do not stream it, make a video of it and release it. Like, you can prepare your video for the day one release, but don't show anything on it online because embargoes are always still in effect until release day or otherwise specified. So just make sure you're on top of that unless you want to get a ban, because bans have been rolling out across large to medium and smaller size content creators across multiple online platforms. Capcom are back in their latest reimagining of Resident Evil, this time Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, a remake of the classic from 1999 on the PlayStation 1. You play as Jill Valentine trying to escape Raccoon City. There's not much left except a heckin' amount of zombies, and then of course the big chungus, thick daddy himself, Nemesis, is on your tail trying to track you down through any means necessary. Now, there's one thing which I want to mention right away. This game is just gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. And by the way, big thanks to Capcom Australia for providing a code for this game for us. Actually, 2 codes for us, thankfully. This game is by no means sponsored. This is not a sponsored review. We just got the game for free.
Huge thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Now, the RE engine brings this world to life, even though there's a lack of life in Raccoon City. And the lighting, the character models, just the fine little details on the uniforms and the world, it just does a fantastic job. It completely immersed me in this. And I'm by no means a horror fan, I'm a wuss. But I was actually enjoying Resident Evil 3. I was into it and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Look, I mean, I've got my fair share of experience playing horror games, and look, to me, Resident Evil, except for 7, isn't really much of a horror to me. It doesn't give me the spooks. But this game, playing it on my PlayStation 4 Pro, I could feel the atmosphere. I was playing it on the TV behind us, the 4K HDR OLED TV, and it looked phenomenal at a rock solid 60 FPS as well. And like, I felt like I was there in Raccoon City, scavenging around, trying to find bits and pieces, ammo, you know, trying to find some bolt cutters or whatever. You know, I felt like I was there, trying to run from the Nemesis, and it really helped add to the atmosphere, just having great performance come out of the game.
The detective nature of that exploration as well, I love that, having to find the attachment for guns and the ammo and the items. It was just great. I loved figuring out clues.
Look, I mean, for me, having to find these little notes on the ground, you know, just little snippets of people writing, you know, their thoughts, and they'll say, oh, you know, I recorded this for this test, and then I gave it to so-and-so in the laboratory because they needed it. It gives you a subtle clue that you need to go, oh, I need to go to the laboratory to go pick up this because so-and-so gave it to this guy. So he must have it because he's in the laboratory. And to me, I really enjoyed that because I felt like I had a purpose. I knew what I was looking for. But at the same time, it wasn't really pushing me there. I still had to figure it out, which I really enjoyed, especially when you get to the Raccoon City Police Department building. There's a lot of that in there, and that's awesome.
The same notes as well, why not providing clues, also provide a ton of world building. You get these notes from people that have gone and committed suicide because they just can't handle what they've seen. It just really throws you into what these people are feeling during, frankly, this zombie apocalypse.
Essentially much. I mean, it just really helps just build the environment that is Resident Evil. You can see the terror in the still standing civilians who you come across, but at the same time, you can somehow feel a little bit empathetic towards some of the zombies. I mean, because I believe there's one scene where you can still hear the human voice of a zombie talk through, and you're like, wait a minute, he's not quite fully turned yet, but he's about 99% there, and you're like, oh shit, what do I do?
You just feel so bad for these
you
characters.
feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, it's Resident Evil. It's fun. It's somewhat arcadey in the combat sense, which I actually quite enjoy, because it's still that Resident Evil style. You know, you got to stand still if you want to shoot. You can't really move around a lot. I mean, you can, but it does hinder your aim. But standing still while trying to pinpoint that perfect aim is satisfying. I don't feel like I'm being hindered.
Now, while we're talking about the movement, there's one gripe I've got. Now, I don't know if this is as a Resident Evil player that's brand new, or if it's a generic flaw across the games. Jill in the cutscenes sprints like an Olympic runner from Nemesis and from zombies, but when it comes to gameplay, all of a sudden I'm a truck and I can barely move. It made the Nemesis encounters when you had to run from them really frustrating.
I didn't feel that. Like, I felt fine when I was trying to run from Nemesis. I didn't feel it was too heavy or lethargic. I didn't feel like I had a problem. If anything, my issue when it came to those, I guess, running around was more just, I guess, trying to figure out which direction I had to go, because Resident Evil doesn't necessarily hold your hand too much when it comes to world navigation. But yeah, outside the physical aspect of running, I mean, I personally didn't have any issue with it.
It just, for me, I just felt like it was too slow to go in between, particularly one particular section where I was going in between this lab and this save point where there was a storage container, just to make sure I got all the items and effectively combined and merged everything so I could just not leave something behind in that room that was key, because one of the items was a key item, but it took up 2 slots, and I was like, I had to go back and forth about 5 times.
And that's another thing which I kind of like about the game. It really forces you to choose, what do I need right now? What items do I need to have on me that are essential? Even more essential than working through the current pandemic, but that are absolutely essential to have on you right now. And it really makes you decide, do I need those extra few rounds of ammo? Do I need those extra herbs to heal myself with later? Can I fuse some herbs together to free up a slot? You know, can I put that item that I don't need now in storage? You know, it really forces you to make those tough decisions on how to progress further.
Now, let's talk about tough decisions and enter into Resident Evil Resistance, the multiplayer aspect where it is an intense 4v1 multiplayer experience where 4 player-controlled survivors need to survive and escape from the traps of one player-controlled mastermind. Well, it would be intense if we could actually get a game during the reveal and launch period.
That's right. I queued for over 5 minutes on either game mode, Survivor or Mastermind, couldn't get a game.
10 minutes.
Yeah, look, I mean, that's after the launch period as well. I just couldn't find a game. So I had to resort to going to practice rounds, which I thought were kind of cool because you can simulate a practice round and sort of get used to the characters and their abilities and perks and how they play. And look, to me, that's fine because, you know, you get the hang of it. But if that's, you know, how I have to play the game because I can't get an online game, well, then that kind of sucks. But, I mean, it's great in theory, but I think execution, it kind of missed the mark.
Resistance felt like an afterthought for me, and it honestly just felt like a reimagined Dead by Daylight. It's like, you don't play RE3 for multiplayer, you play it for the story. So I'm going to score Resistance separately. It's a 0 out of 10 from Whipper from me.
Yeah, look, I mean, from the gameplay I managed to get from Resistance, just playing practice mode, I enjoyed it, but to me, it was more just a rush to the finish. You know, I didn't really get much time to stop and, look at my surroundings. It was just going from room to room to room in an office building. They didn't really have that much variety to them either. The final room that I was in, you had to smash the three, I don't know what they're called, but these three little organic plant cylinder things, and you had to smash those in order to escape. And I was in this little factory maze sort of thing, and to me it just felt frustrating. I was just coming across obstacles in my way that kind of didn't really need to be there, and the enemies were pretty much non-existent. I had finally smashed all the organic plant things, and I was waiting by the door, and there was a big countdown going, and I wasn't being bombarded with enemies or anything. It could have been an awesome opportunity to get slapped in the face by a tougher enemy, but there was nothing there.
Yeah, look, final thoughts when it comes to the game. It's a fun time. It's a short fun time though. I'm hearing 4 to 5 hours of total gameplay time for the story. Thankfully, plenty of trophies if you want to try and go through and multiple run-throughs, try to speed run it. I know there's a trophy for under 2 hours, so if you can sprint through it, have fun. For me, the game was solid. The multiplayer, I'm not even going to count in this score. I'm counting purely single player. For me, it was an 8 out of 10.
Look, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 3. I love the story for it. It's the great follow-up to Resident Evil 2. And look, it's going to be an 8 out of 10 from me as well. I can't wait to get stuck back into it again and continue the journey of Jill Valentine.
In this week's Off the Shelf, we've got a majorly massive haul to show off. Let's start with yours, Mick. What have you got?
All right, I got some bangers this week, some beautiful games. Now, I'm going to start this one off with Sword Art Online Lost Song for the Vita. I've been holding up on this one for a while, and it is the Australian release as well. I do have Hollow Realization on the Vita, and I'm very keen to get stuck into these games. I've been holding off playing them until I had both of them, because I believe the sequels, I think?
Yes, so it goes Fragment, Lost Song, Realization.
That's right, so this one's before Realization, so gonna get stuck into this one first. What have you got, Whipper?
Well, I started off with one that everybody has got, but I had to pick it up a little bit later. Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been playing this a bit, and I'm a convert. I never thought I'd enjoy a game like this, but to be able to lay back in bed, and there's friends I can't actually see due to the current lockdown procedures, this allows me to hang out with them. It's been fantastic fun. Bunny Day though, Zipper creeps me out.
Yeah, look, Zipper can GTFO if I'm concerned. I'm done. I'm sick of the bloody eggs! God!
Let's not get too much into that. What's next on your list?
All right, next we've got The Legend of Zelda: The Phantom Hourglass on the Nintendo DS. Now, I've been wanting this game for almost a decade now, since I saw it come out. It just looked like so much fun. I believe it's set in the same timeline as the Wind Waker, and Wind Waker is just a phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, you need to play it. So I'm really keen to get stuck into this one, and then pick up Spirit Tracks later on down the line if I can get that as well. But yeah, some more DS games to add to the collection, because I don't have many at the moment. What else have you got, Whipple?
Well, I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but I have been wanting to come collect this one for a while. My Doom Eternal Collector's Edition on the PC. So I went with the PC rather than the console release like you did. And I have been wanting to wear this helmet in my company meetings on video for so long. And annoyingly, I just realized we don't do video meetings, so I'm actually a little sad. But even then, I just love this helmet that's on display. It looks gorgeous, and the game looks gorgeous on PC. It's a ripping good time.
That's
What's
awesome.
Next on your list?
Yeah, well, I got some more PSP. You guys know I love my PSP. 2 more PSP games. So we've got SOCOM US Navy SEALs Fire Team Bravo 2 and God of War Ghost of Sparta. Both of these bad boys on the PS2, PSP rather. This one I've heard performs very well. I believe it follows up Chains of Olympus, I think.
I think it does. I've not actually had a chance to play it myself.
And this is actually 1 in 3 games. There's 3 Fireteam Bravo games on the PSP. And I've heard they're pretty good tactical shooters. So
They are.
it's going to cost me $4, so I'm keen to get stuck into it and see how they play.
Can't argue with $4.
Now, what else you got?
Next is a repackaging and remastering of a very well-known within its own culture series, the Hack series, Last Recode. I found this one $25, and I get all 3 of the Hack games plus a recap of the series as well. So not bad. I've been wanting to check this out for ages, and to have a physical Australian copy, I'm cheering.
Hell yeah, that sounds like a banger, man. And then picked up this one because it was so cheap, and like I just couldn't say no for the price. I think it was like $4 as well.
Yeah, it was.
Killzone Shadowfall. Haven't played it, but I do want to play the other Killzone games, and I feel like this kind of follows up after Killzone 3 if I play that through. So, look, I've heard questionable things about this game. Apparently, it wasn't that good, being a PS4 launch title and all. But look, I mean, you know, I'm interested to see what it was like and see how it plays. So, I mean, it's in the Killzone universe. It can't be that bad, right?
Story-wise, people hated it. Visually, it looked fantastic for the PlayStation 4.
That's right, and that's what I'm interested to see the most, how it actually held up on the PS4 on launch. Because just quickly going back, when launch PS3 games came out versus towards the end of the generation, it's a huge jump. Anyway, what else you got?
I kick off with a more recent game that has been released, but by no means to be discounted. Neo 2. Now, you all know I love my Japanese style and culture games, and I've been playing a bit of Neo 1 on stream. Bang. Neo 2. I played a bit of the last trial demo and the other demo they released, and I loved it. The character creation, make your own samurai, as well as and become a demon. You get to pick what type of demon you get to become. It's fantastic. I'm definitely going to be enjoying this one.
Awesome.
This was one of my more fuller price titles at $99. Not a bargain buy, but a haul nonetheless.
And of course, being a Digimon fan, I found this for about $25. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. I believe this is a follow-up to the original Cyber Sleuth. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. If it is, let me know in the comments below. And it's kind of similar to how the Persona series handles, I've been told, as far as the fighting goes and the combat mechanics. So that's got me very interested. Being a big fan of Digimon World, 2003 at least, I'm really keen to get stuck into these. So got me checking these out on the stream.
And speaking of fan, for those of you that know me, I'm a massive Fate series fan. And when I spotted this on the shelf, I couldn't walk away from it. Fate Extella, the Umbral Star. Now for Australians, this did not get a physical release. It was only Europe and North America, so there is no Australian rating for the front at all. So this was a very rare find. The only way you can actually get this is online. And in some cases, they're $50 to $100. So when I found this for $40, I went, mine. I'm taking it. It now completes my Fate Extella collection. I now need to go just get Fate Extra and Fate Extra CC, so I'm keen.
Mate, almost on a roll there. And then, of course, as I was mentioning earlier about Final Fantasy VII breaking the street date and coming out early, I couldn't say no, so I picked up a copy so I can at least play it for our review that we're going to be doing on it. So, not going to be streaming it until the 10th, but I'm not going to say anything on it. It's Final Fantasy VII. If it's anything like the original, I'm sure it's going to be great. Only the original, I guess, standard copy, not the deluxe.
Yep. Now, moving on. This was another one. Now, this is one in my digital collection already, but I wanted a physical of it. Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. I love this. It's a strategy-style game with a World War II-ish aesthetic to it, and it's a gorgeous game. I recommend everyone does play this at least once in their lives.
All right. And then, of course,
the piece de resistance.
oh God. Bam.
Persona 5 Royal.
This is just I'm gonna rate it now. Actually, no, I'm not gonna rate it now before our review. You can wait for that, but I'm gonna give it a high rating. Let's just say that. It's bloody good.
Very high rating from both
Very
of us.
good.
Keep an eye out for that
Keep an
review
eye out.
in the coming month.
All right. And we've got one more, I think. One banger left.
Yep, shall I get this one?
Oh, we'll both do it.
All right.
It's a heavy one.
It's a heavy one, actually.
Oh, here it is.
Here we go.
A PlayStation 3 Fat. Now, you're probably thinking, why would you buy a PS3 Fat when you can get the Slim? The reason why is this just isn't any ordinary PS3 Fat. It is the PS2 backwards compatible version.
That's right, the PlayStation 2 chip that's actually hard soldered into this board also means it's PlayStation 1 backwards compatible as well.
And we can stream PS3 games, PS2 games, PS1 games, you name it, we can capture them, review them now, do all that kind of great stuff. So, super excited.
This is 100% expanded more off-the-shelf content for us.
Absolutely, we are so excited to get stuck into this. So I think that just about does it for this week, Whipper. We have an awesome show planned for you guys next week. We're going to be checking out Final Fantasy VII, the remake, our full review on that, and boy, do we have some things to say about that, let me tell ya.
We got a lot to talk about this one, as well as this week's giveaway winners for the Ubisoft codes of RE6 Year 5, as well as Warlords of New York expansion. Mick, who's won?
So, massive congratulations to Yummy Noodle for coming in with a dub on Division 2, plus the Warlords of New York expansion on PC, and Crispy Jerk for the win on the Xbox copy of Rainbow Six Siege Year 5. So we'll be in your DMs very shortly with those codes, so stay tuned for that.
Congratulations, but I think that's it for this week. See you next time.
See you next time. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You thought we were going to skip on that? Nah! So like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the description. Are you keen for Final Fantasy VII? Are you loving Resident Evil 3? Let us know in the comments below. But you guys will see you next time.